Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix, and welcome to Yacc, yet another Crowcast where I pick a game, I play it for a week, and then I'll talk about it. This week's game is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project. It was released in 1992, and it's a beat-em-up, developed by Konami and published by Konami, and also there will be spoilers up ahead, just so you know, but first a little backstory. To the surprise of no one, I never played this game, and it's supposed to be overshadowed by the other Turtles beat-em-up called Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo, but I had to play this because it looked interesting, I guess. So the game starts you out with a similar opening to the old animated series, and then you're prompted to select between one turtle or two turtles, and in the two turtle option you can have the A or B selected. And A is that you can hurt your ally, and B is you can't. So why would you ever want to hurt your friend? It's a co-op game, beat 'em up at that. So you can select between Leo, Raph, Mikey, and Don, and they all have different specials. So the plot of this game is that the turtles are on vacation in Florida. They're watching TV on the beach, and April is on. And for some reason, Shredder has decided to kidnap April and taking Manhattan to the skies with him. And I don't know why, but there's probably a good reasoning. So that's the start of the game. Stop Shredder's evil plans. So the first stage is the beach. You're on the beach beating up purple foot soldiers and also red and yellow ones. And even some reds, I guess. And the red ones throws like shurikens, like throwing stars. And it's actually kind of cool. You can actually deflect them. And also, if a lot of enemies gang up on you, they can actually grab you and hit you, which is kind of a cool little mechanic. So you have to struggle a bit to get loose. So if one of your turtles fails, or falls, I guess, you can select between any of the other three, so with the select button, and you can earn extra lives by earning points. So there's this special attack, I think it's up or B, where it's basically a one hit, you throw the enemy over your head and they fall to the ground, but that doesn't earn you enough points, but it makes short of the foot soldiers. So there's this balance between you racking up a score to get extra life and basically beating the guy. So it's a little bit of balance thingy going on there. So the stage continued down to a little boardwalk, and you encounter Rocksteady, the Rhino. And a good tactic for this boss is jumping and kicking. So A and B, I think. But this boss is a little annoying, let's say that. So he has a machine gun. It pretty much covers all the screen, so you just have to avoid him. And then he turns red, and then you beat him. So the second stage is a surfing stage where you try to avoid mines and beat up other soldiers while surfing. So I don't know how the surfing mechanics works, but there has to be some propulsion under because there are no waves or anything, you just go straight forward. And the boss of this stage is some flying enemies. So the third stage is a submarine, and this is what I like to call a gauntlet because everything is out to kill you. You have these guns that you can't destroy that fires missiles at you, and you have machine guns that can be destroyed, but they knock you back. So there's this funny animation. You can get hit by the cannons and you get like a sooted face. You can also hang down on the side of the submarine for a bit, but if you take too long you will fall into the water. So there's a good tactic on the boss. I think he's like a mechanical bull or something, so once you reach him he will just do this football tackling kind of animation. You have to avoid him, and when he just runs straight into like a wall you can punch him. So it's he's more or less invulnerable while charging at you, so you have to time your attacks and avoid him, and then you can take him out basically. So the next stage is a broken bridge, and there are a couple of foot soldiers, and there's some wrecking balls falling down. I think there were some wrecking balls in the previous Turtles in Time 2. They fall down like a staircase or something, but the balls are back. So during this level, Bebop is driving like I don't think it's like a monster truck, but a big truck. You have to avoid him a bit. And then you fight an evil turtle. I think it's Slash. I'm not 100% familiar with all the characters because it was so long since I watched the animated series, but I think it's Slash, yeah. And then you fight Bebop. He gets out of the car and just beat him up. And there's a cutscene with the turtles flying to the Manhattan Island, now in the sky. So you fight a bunch of foot soldiers, and you go down into the subway, and there's a boss there. I think it's a mole guy. And I apologize, but I don't know the name of these characters. They probably have like a real cool names and stuff, but it was so long ago since I watched the animated series. And even later you go down into the sewers and you fight a bunch of foot soldiers, and the boss here is like a crocodile with a hat. So the next stage is the Technodrome, so you fight a bunch of foot soldiers, you go through some barriers, you fight Shredder and saves April. And then you chase after Shredder up like a tower, I think. And basically there's like a gauntlet, you have to fight Taka and Razor, the precursors to Bebop and Rocksteady. And then you get beamed up into a spaceship, which is very weird. And then there's like, I think it's like a Technodrome again. You fight Krang, the brain, in his human suit thing. And after that you fight Super Shredder and you win the day. And that's pretty much it. So gameplay. Go from stage to stage to beat the bad guys and the bosses and beat Shredder and Krang in the end. And control, the A button jumps, the B button attacks, the D-pad moves the turtle around, and the start button pauses. A and B does a jump attack, and B and down does this flipping attack that takes out most simple enemies. It doesn't award you as much point as just going on full force against an enemy, but it's a quick way to deal with simpler enemies. And if you turtle fall down, you press select to revive the next character you want to play as. Graphics. There's a lot of sprite flicker when there are a lot of enemies on screen, and the character portraits are they're good, look good, but they all have the same color scheme. So every turtle looks like Michelangelo, like they have like orange bandana. So I don't know, maybe just a sprite limitation or color limitation to the NES, but yeah, it's good anyways. Sound of music. Koso Nakamura, Yoshi Sakura, I think. And there was one other guy that I can't even pronounce the name, and they made the music for this game. And it's an okay soundtrack, nothing that I remembered. It wasn't bad by any means, but nothing that I would write home about, I guess. Easter egg, secrets, and glitches. So you can punch in the Konami code at the start splash screen, but instead at the end you push A, B, and then start. So this brings you into the stage select. You can select difficulty, how many lives you start with, and even do a sound test, which is a little cool thing. The Konami code is more or less in every Konami game, I guess, so fun little Easter egg. In conclusion, I wrote, yes, try it. It's more or less a forgotten game. It's overshadowed by Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo. So if you're a Turtles fan, try it out. So there are a lot of funny small animations that the turtles do. They can get shot by artillery gun like fire, and their face turn into soot, and they can be crushed by heavy object and get squished and hang on from like the side of the sub and fall into the water. So there are a lot of small animations that are fun to look at. There's also an animation when you're idle that breaks the fourth wall. The turtles just look straight at you and waiting for your input, which is they just look stupid. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. On the negative end, I would prefer to have a dash button. I think they have a dash button in the Super Nintendo version. It would be cool if you can just run into things and tackle them, but sadly it doesn't, because they walk so slowly, the turtles, so you have to cover a lot of ground, and a dash button would have been nice. And this game is super hard and super long, so I didn't beat it this week, so the difficulty kind of ramps up into the end. And I didn't know about the that you need to rack up points with extra lives, and in the end you kind of need them. So that's a thing. If I would have known that, then I wouldn't be been so frustrated. So I can recommend playing it, but try it out, but don't try to beat it in one sitting. And as I said about Little Nemo, it's the same thing. I don't think a kid could beat this game in one sitting, and it has no passwords, but if you know the Konami code, you can do like a stage select. So yeah, try this game, but don't expect too much. If you're a fan, sure, why not? It's a forgotten game. Try it, play it, have fun. So anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and take care.